Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Community Live broadcast of the SZR Midweek High and Midweek Low series. We are on race number 8. It's a scratch race in McCurry's Suki's Playground. 2 laps, 36 kilometers. For this race out here today, we'll be covering the midweek high C's and the midweek low A's. For those that are wondering, Dave, you want to give a quick little explanation for those that are new to this broadcast? Because we just were chatting about it right before we came live here. The difference between the lows and the highs and why it is a midweek low and a midweek high. Because people might have been coming to this like, why is it a low and why is it a high? What's going on here? And we've got 7 categories. Essentially, it's 7 categories instead of 4. That's really what the aim is, to give you a larger breadth, it seems like, to find where people might fit.
I feel like a domestique that has been honored with your trust as a team leader, allowing me to explain this. Um, Very much so. So, yeah, what they're trying to do, and again, shout out to Martin in Sweden. Martin, I hope you've been watching the broadcasts. And again, the Tutti Frutti supplies here are alarmingly low. So, just a heads up. Um, but Nathan, they really, what Martin and the crew there at SCR are trying to do is really custom tailor the categories for riders. So a lot of folks consider themselves, and rightfully so, or they are, it's a little simplified to say that he or she or they are just a B rider. You're either a high B or a middle B or a low B. And much like grading in schools, same exact concept. That's why we have a B plus or a B minus, just to kind of let you know a little more where you're trending. So that being said, you'll see that the two groups are racing the same courses, same distance, everything's the same, except they're in different fields, and it's sort of what self-applied. A lot of times at events that I announce, we'll ask groups, hey, if you know you're not going to be competitive in the big waffle ride, start near the back just to get out of the way of all the craziness. You don't want to be a part of that anyways. If you're not racing for the win, why be there? So same thing here. Basically, you'll know you, and if you're honestly categorizing yourself, you'll find a better yourself in the right group.
You
Does
know
that
what's
make sense?
interesting? Yeah, what's interesting, Dave, I got to say, my experience in real life racing in the last couple of years has been much better on that respect than it has in years past. Now, I don't know why I feel that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a feeling
Yeah,
I have. Is that because I'm fitter? Is it because, and so
or confident
I'm not, or
might be.
confident or not as bothered, or, about whether or not someone's here or someone's there? Because a lot of times, and I digress definitely from the show, and we'll jump in with the C's here in just a second. I just got to get this out there from what you're saying, because you made this comparison that kind of like both triggered and glimmered. I heard this term the other day, glimmered, like a good response, like a, huh, um, I don't get that feeling anymore. But back in the day, when maybe I wasn't quite as fast, I thought things impacted my race maybe more than they did, or they actually did. I just didn't have as much control over the situation because I was over my head at times, if that makes sense, as far as whether or not I could do anything about it with the kind of fitness I have. The larger the fitness tank, I think there's a lot more you can do about a start that has so and so here, so and so there, and a couple of people. And the only thing that really gets in the way is when you have somebody who doesn't know how to ride their bike, and they're
Yeah,
way
well,
over their head. They're breathing like, oh my gosh, and you're next to them, and you're in your zone 2, zone 1, and they're and they take the whole field out. That's a whole nother situation. Luckily in Swift, though, we don't have that problem.
yeah, we do ask that in this world that people be situationally aware, right? I mean, like, so if you're in the front group of a finale in a world tour race, like, go ahead and sprint or get out of the way kind of thing. I still think about Durango. We were talking about this off mic, but this is exactly what our Zwift community brings too. NFTF. Remember me telling you about that, Nathan? Never
Mm-hmm.
forget the feeling. And
Mm-hmm.
that really can apply to so many things in life. But it is like, man, when it's all clicking and when you're with your buddies and you're out there doing a WTRL time trial, never forget the feeling, man. It really is special. So high seas, I always think of that crazy drink, and then not too much sugar, I'm sure.
Hey, we
And
need
then,
that guy. We need
yeah,
the
well, I'll
high
look it
C
up.
guy to come through
I'll
for
send you.
these guys. Like that's their like symbol now. They're the high C's. Let's go. Didn't he say? Didn't he just say, "Oh
I
yeah"?
think he
Wasn't it
did.
just like,
No, that
"Oh
was Kool-Aid
yeah" when
guy.
he came? No,
That
that
was
was Kool Aid. What did
that's
high
Mr.
C?
Kool-Aid.
Maybe high C guy didn't even say anything.
He had a hat and a vibe going that was a little different than
Hat
Kool-Aid
and a
guy.
vibe.
And you know what, Nathan, I'll send over some info on that because it is our high seas that we're jumping in with right now. As Nathan mentioned, it's McCurry Island, it's Suki's playground, and 2 laps today for 36K. Not an insane amount of climbing, but there's enough, right? Nathan, have you raced out here much over your time?
Yeah, this is a good course. It pretty much does all of the lower flats and hits up the castle. Is what we're up to out here today. I can actually probably get an image of the exact course. We hit up the castle and then we go out and do the rest of the flat run. So it's like all of the flat grounds on the country sprint, the flatland loop area, and you do all that. But they also add in that castle climb in the middle of it, go through the castle and head back out to the flatlands and like kind of the watery area in the back end of the McCurry Islands. So you pretty much get to see it all and a little bit of a punch in the middle. It's a great course. It's kind of a figure eight loop essentially of the entirety of McCurry Islands.
All right, so I'm just gonna. You've done a great job with the tutorials, Nathan. But so today, if you go into Zwift Power, you can easily find events, and you'll see there's the midweek high race series presented by SZR, and then the midweek low. So today we're in with this group, the high C's. It's a huge field, actually. Yesterday we saw some fields. Yeah, it's been amazing lately to see people's response to Zwift racing this season. So high C's here, and then the lows we're going to be in with the A's at some point out here today. But they're getting into it. Nice peloton scooting along out here. We're in with Mr. Groisman. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research and see what he is all about.
Yeah, Warren continues to press the pace a little bit on the front, but it's really just a controlling pace. It seems like he seems to want to be on the front. If you watch his watts per kilogram, 4.2, 4.2, consistently pulling through in a way that tells me he's interested in not working his way backwards or wherein here
Getting a
he
good
may,
workout.
yeah, he may just be in it for the workout. I mean, that sometimes that is what's going on.
I have really come to understand that. Um, Nathan, so many folks. So right now, probably I'm starting to think it probably gets dark pretty early in Sweden right now, this time of year. So we're into that post dinner, getting that workout in. These are the real heroes in the workout realm, to tell you the truth. The folks that work out at the end of their day, always impressive. So these events, of course, it's a race. It's a
I've
flat out
never
race. But
I've
go
never
ahead.
had that before where we went through the actual entire roof. That was interesting.
That's weird. Yeah,
That was
and you know
interesting.
that. Yeah.
Happy Haps here. Happy Bikes. I'm gonna call him Happy. It's iHaps here. Bike FR
From
pushing 5 watts
France.
per kilogram coming up, and this is gonna be the climb, Dave. Right here. They're heading into the castle. This is some of the best roads. Absolutely love this section of course. You can get a good eye here on what they're climbing up to in the upper left-hand corner there. They'll be going all the way up to that castle you see, and even along, there's actually a road on the other side of that fence they will be riding. But right now, they got to do the switchbacks into a 5% gradient, and it looks like Bikes FR is
Wow.
on the front out of France, pushing 5 watts per kilogram in this C category. He's really putting it down. 182 beats per minute. Rhino's coming on through with our buddy Janssen from the Rotella also there as well.
This is going to flat out blow up the group, no question. So we'll see who survives after this one. There's that Doty jersey, the Scottish hero in the world of rugby. That was a really cool ride that they put together. So taking a look now as I'm wondering how many survive this absolute onslaught that they're under now. Everybody can catch their breath a little bit if you're up in this front group. If not, you got to close down a gap, and that really is the name of the game: is shutting down those gaps immediately. You can't let that just kind of dangle out there. Every second that you spend with your nose in the wind, you're paying a huge, huge price. So very, very active for our C's here, but I'm surprised at how many riders have survived. These are the guys that are really now going to be digging in, trying to get back into the group. This, Nathan, where you're showing on the screen right now, this is the blood and guts zone. These are the guys that are really scraping to get. And look at that from Gardland here, fighting back in. He's another one of the little wheel riders. We've got to know the Rotella team out here. Watch this effort here. So he must have just had bad positioning because he's certainly got good legs right now, Nathan. He's going to come back up into this group.
165. Is he maxing out, or has he got a little bit more to work with? That's the big question. At 165 base per minute, 391, 4.3. It does repeat for a second. Just a moment here. He's back with a little bit of draft. He's got just a tad at this point. Now the question is whether or not Esberg is going to continue with any speed. No, Esberg's falling off the pace now as well. He's got to go right on by. Yep. Oh, man. And now the question is 2 seconds between Florin and him here, Dave. This is quite the moment. And you know the whole reason?
He needed Esberg. Yeah, he really was counting on, that's the gamble that is racing, that Esberg had something in the tank, was going to be able to help take him up into the back of that group, Nathan, so he has to soldier on alone. That's bike racing encapsulated right there in a 30-second window.
Yeah, and you see him still right on the back there. It's starting to string out behind the pack still. He may still get in, but look what is going on here.
Galloping pigs
up and over. Yeah, well, that's really what's going on. It was the pigs. I saw them as well. They're in a different. They are in a different area than I usually see them on. Honestly, like that was kind of cool to see them down there in the lower slopes here. But they're hitting the castle section. 7 seconds for Albert now.
I did not. I hope he doesn't think I called him a pig. Right?
No,
I don't know how to say that. No, absolutely. I'm just kidding. Look at the wattage. You know what he is? He's a monster, Nathan. So the French rider here going up into the 7.5 watts per kilo range, that's going to put everybody else definitely under pressure now. So we got a long way to go. I'm going to take a deep breath, Nathan, because we have to realize that it is 36 kilometers of racing. We're only halfway through the first lap, but a significant sector has been put into the rearview mirror here, and clearly this is the rider to beat today.
Yeah, it looks like 100% going to be the rider to beat today. They may let him go into upgrade land. I have a feeling.
He might have to.
Yeah.
I mean, that might even be.
That's just the reality, I think, at this point.
It's Wednesday evening. This is not the Zwift Grand Prix or the high stakes racing for $100,000. This is a chill event. So we don't need to freak out when you see out of this world performance, because it's I would imagine an upgrade notice will be coming, or he comes back into this group and absolutely explodes, because there's that doesn't look like it's happening though. So I would let that ship sail if I was back in this group.
100%. I think it's gone. So now Waring, Jones, Johnson, all controlling the front. Who has survived? That's the big question. Is our buddy off the back still here? Yes. Do we have some Americans?
Yeah, one. But I thought I saw our flag. Really
Ryan there from the Rhinos is there with them. So,
but my big question, Nathan, that's
did
the
our
only
buddy
American.
Get back on terms with this whole situation here? We had a couple of guys: Rostron, Jofferson, Jelstrom.
The all-black kit. I'm trying to remember.
I'm seeing if he's here with us still. There he is, Gardland. He's got a little group here too.
So they should marry these two groups together. I would hope that if you could get all 7 to commit WTRL team time trial style, which it almost looks like they're running a double pace line. That's beautiful, actually. I'm betting on you guys here, the group that Nathan has queued up on screen, to rejoin that group up the road. But they all need to contribute now. It's like building a barn.
They have him in sight still, just barely, but I'm not sure they've got the motivation here. At the front, Trocino here, 2.3 watts per kilogram. Nobody really pulling more than 2 or 3, so they're going to need a lot more than that.
Yeah. Okay. Good news is they're not attacking each other. Bad news is everybody needs to do about 10% more.
Yep, 100%. And that looks like that's going to be out to 10. I think this ship is sailing pretty quick here at the
Oh boy.
front.
Gosh darn it. I thought they were going to get back in. I
I
really
thought so
did.
too. I really did. I thought they had enough riders there, but they came over the top here with some speed, it looks like. Now kicking 44 kilometers per hour.
Boy.
Nothing too intense,
Have you ever?
but no speed from that rear peloton. 39 only on the front here.
I lived in Ireland for a few years, Nathan, and we used to go out to the shore, and it's always amazing when you see the energy behind when a ship leaves the dock, how the permanence of that they're gone. Once the tide is leaving, they'll come back, but it won't be until tomorrow, kind of, and it feels that way when the tide is taking that group away from you sometimes when you just don't have the energy in your chase to rejoin. It's a hard feeling. It's why, bike racing, it's all about mental toughness too. And this group has kind of shown the grinta. It's a great Italian term. I love that term,
Grinta.
actually.
I don't know that term.
Grinta, grit, basically.
Ah, okay.
Like the kind of person that never gives up. You cannot crush them. Somewhat like your wife, I think, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I'm gonna have to remember
It's not
that.
Portuguese though, so she won't maybe
No,
know it.
no, but I'm gonna have to remember that for tomorrow because I have a feeling I'm gonna be
You'll
the
need.
people are gonna be
Oh,
telling
yes,
me to
use
have a
that with the
lot of
team.
grinta. They're gonna say
Yes, they'll
grinta to
love
me
you.
probably all day tomorrow.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Here's another one that I'm going to tell you for that I love. Tiene duro. Hold hard. Hold fast.
Tiene duro.
Uh,
Tiene
Tiene
duro.
duro. Hold hard. That makes sense, right? That means don't give up. Come on. Tiene duro. You got this. All right, Ryan, you're my guy, the Rhino here, the American. The only reason I'm picking him up as my guy, Nathan, is he's the only American in this group, which makes me happy because Zwift is not an American thing. It's a world thing. And, when you're 1 in 40 flags, that's about right, for our world representation. So today I feel like I can cheer for him.
Warring continues on this war path essentially on the front
Actually,
here. I mean,
I'm going to cheer for him. I
I mean,
changed.
look at this guy. I mean, he
Come
just
on, this guy's a
continues to
monster.
pull this entire
Yeah.
group all day here, trying to bring Albert back. Albert's gone. 4.5
Well, so
to 6 watts per kilogram. Definitely A numbers, so that's going to be an upgrade. I think they'll be giving him in the Zwift Power results a relegation. Coned essentially in the Zwift Power results. He'll get across the finish line. For those that are unfamiliar with what I'm talking about there, perhaps some that are watching the broadcast here, the categories are open to join. So you can jump into any category until you have a certain ranking attached to you that will allow you in or not allow you in. Some of the events use it, some of them don't. But Albert probably doesn't have enough races at this point for him to not be having an auto categorization. So since he doesn't have that, he was able to get in here. I have a feeling auto categorization will grab him after this one.
And Nathan, thanks. This is a zero shade zone. I made that term up.
Yeah, there's no shade here at this moment on that either.
So no, not at all. So as a matter of fact, I'm kind of giving a wink and a nod, a congratulations. Such a great ride that I'm sure that Aubert is going to continue to have fun. I'm going to mentally note that name because I think.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have a Zwift Power. I mean, this is this is one of the things. It's an introductory. Like he might get a message. Hey, you were on the Zwift Community Live. Da da da. We saw you off the front. Like
they were saying that you were cheating. It's like, come on, not even close.
They may say that, they may not. He's level 13, and I'm seeing he has 1, maybe 2 races underneath his belt. The game has marked him as a D category, which means it doesn't have enough information about him yet.
It lacks data, kind of.
So,
yeah. So I'll tell you, the data that we're seeing is you look like a really strong Zwifter. That's for sure. So I'd imagine, and you know what I'd recommend, if not, we've had a few friends, Nathan, that we've seen go through this process of they identify talent. That's one of the things that Zwift is tremendous for, is identifying talent. I'm sure that's going to happen with our the broadcast, some of the broadcasts we have coming up in the next few months. But that being said, The process is an interesting one. As far as like going into the dual verification world, it's a commitment and it's well worth it. It's how you ensure that yourself and your competitors are all on a level playing field. It's really the only way that we can do that. And it involves videos and dual verification with your power, and it's all doable and reasonable. And luckily, you're not the first person who's going down that path. There's plenty of athletes that can give you a template. There's tutorials online that can show you how to accomplish all the goals, but it's a dedication to your craft. And
Luca was caught.
Nothing.
Dave,
Yeah.
they caught him. Actually, he sat up. It looks like, which I wonder if they're gonna be happy about that or not. A little bit of sprint here. There's no points today that I'm aware of.
Yeah, good point.
So,
It's a scratch race today. We've
yeah.
had points races in the past, right? But today's scratch. So that just means it's a race to the finish line with no other bonuses or time sectors along the way.
Luca's a
Pure bike racing.
U23 rider. Actually, he may be a youngster jumping in with us as well, newer to the world of Zwift. So that's cool to see.
To me, anybody U23 is a youngster now.
Yeah, well, true. I mean, but
no,
there's a pretty big difference
you,
between like around 23 or under 23
Right.
versus junior. Like there's definitely a little bit of a difference.
Oh, I
there.
agree. A U23 could also be a 15-year-old.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
right,
And I mean, with level 13 being new, I actually think this is a situation where we got, a younger kid jumping
time of
in
year.
here and getting some fitness in coming out of France. And pretty cool to
Here's
see,
the scenario.
actually.
You get into bike racing this year, right? And you find out you got some talent for it. Season wraps up. Most of the northern hemisphere bike racing has moved into cyclocross or kind of a dormant state. And you're into it. You got some talent. People directly send you to Zwift to keep training and enjoying community. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we have plenty of riders coming out of their season that get on Zwift to race for the first time. And we are stoked to have you. You're going to really enjoy the experience, to tell you the truth. It's motivating. The connections you'll build are tremendously strong. As Nathan and I have learned, they extend well outside of just being here doing these broadcasts. These become some of your friends for life. That's for sure. So Waring, not making too many friends. Nathan, he's making everybody work really hard. When we finish up, you always bring up the result screens, and usually it has a watts per kilogram that shows you the workload that the riders had, or gives you at least one snapshot of that. And if his isn't the highest, I will be blown away.
Yeah, true. I think, Waring, I mean, if you really backs off, we'll see.
Outside of Aubert.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Although, and Aubert remains, working really hard. Yeah, actually, that'll be interesting. I'll put an asterisk next to that. Is it Waring or Aubert who has the highest watts per kilogram average at the end of the day?
Now Waring's
or someone
starting
else?
to press a little bit more here. We're on the back end of this. It's about halfway through the race. What do we got? 32K. So right on. Oh, no, is it 36 or 32? 36. Okay, so we're a little under halfway. Still a little ways to go here. And this is a longer race, actually, for this crew. I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit more than what they're used to. And because of that, there's going to be some more pressure points, I have a feeling.
How many? Okay, question for you. While we have a moment here watching our high seas out here in the SZR Wednesday racing, Nathan, how do you, when you have a longer race, say over 30K M, how do you set up your hydration and nutrition scheduling? Do you look at that like one bottle for every 20 minutes, or what's your plan for?
Yeah, great question, actually. So my nutrition plan is like always have 4 bottles next to me. That's my nutrition plan. But so indoor for indoor,
yeah, you don't have to carry it with you. So it's not like
exactly.
It's weight on you.
So like I just have bottles lined up in front of me.
Why not?
At least 2. And the main thing I think about, actually, more so than the water, because the water can just be available if you have enough bottles in house. I just try to make sure that I have at least 2 at all times, if not more. I mean, if it's 30K, 2 should be plenty. But then, really, it's the sugar. It's how much sugar I'm taking in. And if it's a race, I've always got enough sugar with me to be taking in somewhere between 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrates every 20 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes or so, if it's a race. And depending on how hard we go, it might be that I might be taking that every 15 to 20 minutes, or even a little bit more sometimes if it's like a full gas. I actually had a conversation about this yesterday, Dave, about how do I get that in, because I struggle to get the amount of sugar that I need in, because I've always been such a in a packet kind of person, not put it in my drink. And I think I'm going to start shifting to having both packets and a drink mix, just because it's going to help to get those numbers in as best it possibly can. And this is because of the shifts we've seen in the amount of carbohydrates that we know is needed to perform at high intensity.
Yeah, I've heard 100 per hour, which is really close to what you were saying at 30 per 20 minutes, right? Which would be 90.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
right,
It's pretty close. It's and everybody's
thing.
different for weight and gut and the needs a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, if
but
there's
this has
one
got to
thing
be
we've
trained.
learned,
It's got to be trained though, Dave. Like you can't just jump in and start throwing 90 grams, because the old way was.
guess what your gut will do? Because that's why everybody doesn't use sodium bicarb as well. Try that once if you've never, if you've heard about it and you wonder, go ahead and just do it. It can't hurt you. It's just sodium bicarbonate.
What is going on here,
but you
Dave?
actually it could hurt you, because it's not super fun if your body doesn't adapt.
No,
Look
it's
at
not
this
fun.
though.
This is a moment I was not
kidding.
expecting. This is downhill through the lap banner, and they're actually attacking each other.
Yeah, well, in modern racing, definitely they attack left, right, and center. I'm kidding about that sodium bicarb thing, by the way. Don't
go just try it. Just don't get
don't do it.
Talk to a friend who knows what they're doing.
100%. That was a joke. All right, so back to the action now. I'm not kidding.
You can DM me and have a conversation about sodium bicarb if you want. I do use sodium bicarb. I've had bum races and I've had really good races, and I've had no workout as well because of using it. So you've got to really figure that one out.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mr. Waring, unlocking monster status out here today. He's been riding the front all day long, or leading the chase, one of the two. But we're getting down to it now, moving into finale phase. Well, not quite, actually. I'm getting the cart in front of the horse a little bit, but we've made our selection for the day. Your winner's on your screen right now for our high C's out here. It's really going to come down to, Nathan, the guys that have conserved their energy. This stays together for a sprint. I guess it's time to start looking at some numbers, isn't it? Riders like Christer London making 13 watts per kilogram, raw power at almost 1100. 1100 is the number that you see Liam Hans. Oh, you know what? That's the A's. Excuse me. I was in the wrong group. I apologize there. So much.
Well, I'm going to help out Troy Meeker
numbers
here.
Sound a little high.
Let's help out Troy Meeker here. One to go. Troy, here we go. Just for you, buddy.
Want to go. I did a lot of that in St. Petersburg. Want to go. Thank you, Troy. Troy must be an American Criterium fan, Nathan. I did a lot more of that back in the day. It was fun. I was at the Williams Brothers did their big event in St. Petersburg this weekend, and it was fun. It was definitely a blast there. So, thanks, Troy. Well, I took that as a compliment somehow. I have a huge.
I think it is a compliment. I think it is a compliment. I think he's 100% saying, "Come on, we need the Towleism here."
The one to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. So, looking at the Zwift Power results, right? Well, not results, but the current standings and how things are. Bastian S here, Watt Fabric is in here so far doing a 3.3 watts per kilogram average. The lowest average we have amongst this crew at the front, Stefan Versick from Kirchmeier, has been very smart when it comes to how much power that he's actually using amongst this here. So I have a feeling he's been saving as much as he possibly can. Be on the watch out for him.
Well, he's a finisher too. So getting back to the correct data, If he's in the group that you're with at the finish line, he can make almost 10 watts per kilo with close to 1,000 watts of raw power. It is Adam Jones for the INC Aliens, Nathan. That's probably your danger man. He is your danger man on paper. I'll be honest. I don't need to qualify that. Adam Jones is 12 watts per kilo at 1,092 raw watts. That's absolute
Ooh,
monster
look at
status.
this
The other
behind
guy,
them, Dave.
oh,
Look at this behind these
there's
guys.
Alex Jones right there, Nathan.
Yeah,
Adam Jones.
so I'm
Excuse
jumping
me,
around just
not
for the
Alex.
people you're look at this. He's breaking away as well. They've got 3 seconds here, Dave. They kind
So
of
that's your most.
snuck off the front though. It wasn't like it was this big attack. They kind of followed Waring, and then all of a sudden there was this gap and nobody closed it.
Carry R. I'm looking here, Nathan. That with the CAY team, so did not make this move. That's the most danger man is this German rider here for the Ruhr Riders team. And it looks like they got away without him. So, all right, they've been in the bank, they got the money, and they're really looking at about 14K. Well, Nathan, you know what? I don't know that this has the legs. I would not work with Adam Jones. I absolutely not.
I love it. I love it. Adam's loving you right now. He's like, dang it, Dave. Why you got to pull all my secrets
research.
out? I would not work with this guy. Luca,
But
though.
you know what's funny? So, Nathan, I've been in these team cars before. You know, that's exactly what happens when a breakaway goes up the
totally
road.
is. Totally.
Know everybody, and they'll start doing their immediate research. They've got special, tools that they have, but think basically, pro cycling stats, and they start looking up who are these guys, what have they done in the past. If they want to sprint, they like to see who they were sprinting against. It's apples to apples. You got to compare. But when you see these numbers, that's one of the great things about Swift. When you see these numbers, well, I don't want to sprint against that. Knowing what I can do, I'd have to be a really, really crafty. But Nathan, this is some crazy racing going on out here.
Yeah,
right
look
now.
at these moves here. People are going across. Josephson's now trying to go across. It looks like what Fabric here with Stibe here, unable to maybe close it down. 171 beats per minute. I mean, it's touch and go, isn't it here, Dave? I mean, right on the verge of whether or not you're going to be involved or out the back. I think it's going to just slowly stitch itself back together here, but it was right on the edge. And Dave, this is all happening right before they hit their second time up and over the top of that castle, Dave. So I have a feeling a lot of riders are going to be feeling these attacks, feeling the ways that this had played out through the flatter lands. And now as we head into the castle, their heart rates are already going to be through the throats. And I think we're going to lose quite a few.
I love it. I mean, man, if you signed up for a good bike race today, you got that and some extra. As this group gets a little bit smaller, Nathan, as you said, critical sector coming up. Everybody's already going to, if you're not at your limit, you are on one heck of a day. So this is the Vanguard, the front group now coming up on. Yeah, I mean, does this group get split in half? The way these guys have been racing so aggressively, I'm wondering if this is a little bit of pent up ZRL racing, with ZRL on a little bit of a hiatus right now in between season 1 and 2 for 23-24. These guys are really throwing down out here. Haps has been one of the riders to watch, no question. But I mean, Versick, as you mentioned, has been really efficient back in this group. Let's see if he's got something extra for the finish.
Yeah, Versick is the one to watch out for. Now, that RC rider you were talking about, that's another rider to watch out. Has now made
the
or CR2. Is that who we're talking about here? The
no,
German
I was
rider?
talking about Carl R. Carl R. for the Ruhr Riders team. Level 10 Zwifter, super new to this.
This may be the rider. I'm not positive. It may be. This the only because it has.
Can you see his side of his? What does it say on his kit there? Yeah, clues are adding up. So that is him.
The basic bike. That basic
he's 100
bike
kilo.
Me,
he's 100 kilo, Nathan, which tells me too that so he looks like a level 10 Swifter, and also that looks like the avatar looks like it would fit what he's listed. So kind of, maybe not. Maybe it looks a little small.
So we'll see if.
I love these. These guys. There's going to be some familiarity amongst this group, but there's always going to be the riders coming out of the woodwork for you too. I think that's him, Nathan. I do think
so
that's
too.
him.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. Well, this is going to be a real throwdown out of this group. They've separated the wheat from the chaff as well. Oh, little attack going now. So who is it this time? It's Aubert again. Yep. Getting up in the mix here with a few other guys. Haps.
Jones, Waring, Carlson, Morris, Hops now. Jones now continues on the front here. Nice little push on from him. He's on that S-work, so he's not really interested in the climbing too much. This guy wants to make it speed. He's all about the speed in the green kit. Kind of liking the setup. A little bit mismatched on the socks. Anna wouldn't be happy about that. But Waring and Haps now, they're all working together, it looks like, as they hit the castle climb. There's the separation we talked about that we were expecting. 3 off the back. Now there's going to be 3 or 4 more falling off the back as we start to hit these switchbacks, Dave. See who's going to survive to the top. And I think perhaps we may have lost Dave momentarily. We'll see if we get him back here in just a second. Waring now to the front, it looks like. Sweden, as we can see, continuing on. It looks like Jones Innovation 24.8 coming from, or 24.8 kilometers in. 164 beats per minute. Johnson from Rotella now. CR2, that is going to be Carl. The German rider. Racer Depan. Race Depan? No, 97 beats per minute coming in from this rider, Carlson, now, as makes the split. It is 2 seconds back to Dejan GWD out of the Netherlands. Morris, Bastian there now from Watt Fabric trying to jump across. The suffering is real now at this point, though. As De Jong here at 4.6 watts per kilogram here. Morris here. Bastian, David S. and Gjellstrom. Army Triathlon man here. Jones just hanging on. It's going to be 6 seconds back, though, for Watt Fabric as he falls off the pace. He's got the steering on far left-hand side, trying to find every meter that he can. Watt Fabric teammate also here. Loving the new kit in-game. Haven't seen this as of yet until today, actually. 152, it's going to be Ungerman here trying to get on his teammate's wheel. They're going to be taking what I thought would be a left-hand turn there. No, they're going to go around the corner here. One more spot until they take that left. That's actually the downhill section. So left-hand turn. Watt Fabric, though, falling off the pace. 14 seconds up, and you can really start to open up the gaps as the riders are trying to finish up this climb. Again, the pace must be incessant at the front here, Dave, as we've got, it looks like Zellstrom, Bastian, all falling off pace. It's only going to be, I think, maybe 14, no, not even 10 riders going to make this split.
Well, you come for the workout, right? And that's absolutely what you're getting out here. Nothing brings it out of you like racing, that's for sure. Got to feel really good about making this front group. David Edis has been phenomenal today. You know, Nathan, if somebody said, look at another rider now being dropped out of this group, make it actually possible. Can the rider in the orange jersey fight back in? But when you talk about an attritional race, Nathan, just reference this one. There are those pigs again.
I love those guys. Those things baby are so ones. Great. Yeah, I'm gonna keep I'm gonna keep moving backwards here. I want to watch them.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're race.
Or
it's like a warthog or like something along those lines. How far do they go? Is what I'm wondering. Like, what kind of pattern are they on?
What are they
like,
doing?
Look, they're disappearing around the corner back there. And
are they chasing or being chased or just exercising?
I think the babies are chasing their mom around is what's going on there. Now, my question is, are they going to suddenly appear again around the corner over here? Like, did they do a lap around this mound and then come back around perhaps? And these are the questions that really matter. You know,
I figured it out.
Yeah.
The mom pig is wearing out the piglets because they're exhausting her because they've got so much energy that they're driving her crazy. So she said, all right, everybody, we're going for a run. She took them all out for a run, and then they saw the bike race come by. It's like a lot of times bike races just come through your neighborhood. Like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
So these are the
Germany.
Questions.
Look at all the Germans.
And the reason why this is an important question is because today there was the release of new roads, and everyone's going to be exploring. I want to know what your names are of the newfound friends out on the roads of Watopia that did get released. The new coastal roads there.
Lot
fun.
The expansion. I saw
Mm-hmm.
Eric Min talking about this as he met Eddie Merckx today. How cool is that? Or yesterday. I guess no, it was today. It's always weird when you see news coming out of Europe here in the U.S. But Vatting is back at it. The Swedish rider, certainly one of our big heroes of the day. Adam Jones, though, top sprinter, closing it down. It looks like his main adversary, Aubert, the French rider here, who had the audacious early breakaway that was brought back into the fold. It was Adam Jones that attacked with the group next. That then was reeled back in, and now this is what's left, Nathan. It looks like we've got 7 riders in our front group here. Talk about a selection.
Yeah,
Hap,
this is going to be most likely it. There are a little chase group of 3 here, but Waring is really, it looks like, motivated to keep this away.
driving.
Jones sitting on here, and they've got Luke and Waring up here, so I have a feeling this is going to stay away. Perhaps we'll have to take a look and see how they're. I mean, Waring here, what's he at? 155. This is I'm going to have to take a look here through the watts per kilogram. I have a feeling also here that just a couple of athletes, I have a feeling that maybe just a little bit over the C highs.
This is
perhaps.
high. It's interesting, and this is high C. So maybe going on. This shows you the when you look at the level of racing, how the difference between a low B and a high C is probably right about here.
Yeah, 4.1's maybe a little high.
Into the B range.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll
so
see you there soon.
Yeah, see you there soon for sure. I feel like I recognize Waring actually.
Me too.
78 races,
From
level
Swift
52.
Racing Week.
Yeah, I think I've seen him around, perhaps. Maybe been well, this is a different Waring. Well, now I'm seeing, looking through, been around since 2019, actually, Waring. So, going all the way back.
That's not new.
No, not new at all. And he's had a few races so far this year. It looks like this is going to be his first race, though, jumping back in. So that has a lot to do with it, I think.
From the road.
I think there's the reality of like, oh, I'll jump into a C race, see how it goes. And it's time to get the idea of where he belongs, kind of a thing, because he is just dominating today. These poor C's are getting all the guys coming back into
all they signed up for and more.
Yeah, that's for sure. Jones is just hanging on 138. He looks super comfy as well.
He's hoping it's a sprint. He should be in pretty good shape if he can do what he.
You think he's the tough guy amongst these? You think he's the one to watch out for, this Adam Jones?
100%.
1,092, 345 on that average for his power personal best, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, I think you got a good call there. 12 watt per kilogram here, Dave. 12.5 from Carl R. So that would be the matchup, wouldn't it, that you called earlier?
Yeah, it's my forte, Nathan. It's what I do.
Well, Carl is here too, and they're right next to each other right now. They're eyeing each other up, Dave, with only about 6 kilometers, 7 kilometers to go.
That's the battle. That is King Kong versus Godzilla on that oil tanker. It's these two have got all of the bona fides to show you that they're going to be up there absolutely railing this sprint. So if you can beat them and you're in this group, well, you're going to feel really good about where your sprinting is at. This should be up into, I bet you we see a 13, 14 watts per kilo pop. Because these, you talked about it. I really enjoyed that conversation yesterday. Steel sharpening steel with your training and what vision is all about. Well, this is exactly in Ireland when you're playing hurling. They call it the clash of the ash. When the 2 hurling sticks hit, they're made out of ash wood, and it's a sound that you can hear 5 kilometers away, and you know that the guys are playing hurling.
Really?
Same thing. Oh, it's incredible. Just the athleticism and the ash and the wood, and it's hardened ash. And it's just one of those magical things about sport around the world. And same thing here with Zwift, where when you get 2 athletes who are really good at something and they get to square off in a fair competition, they've already been through a lot. This has been 30K of racing on a challenging Suki's playground. 2 laps out here today. They're going to finish right around 36K. But so you made this selection. These guys have been dripping sweat now. I mean, at this point, you probably have lost a pound, more than a pound of just water pouring out of their bodies with this effort. I mean, it's been consistently. I mean, the winner today will be what, 3.4 watts per kilo, something like, well, maybe a little under that. But this is a sea level race, and these guys are hitting it like, just mega. So when this one is done and dusted, everybody's going to be in a pool of sweat, and they'll be that much stronger, that much fitter. And that's exactly why we do this. So we're down to 5K to go through this visually. This is one of my favorite places in all of the world of Zwift. Why aren't the pigs here?
Yeah, well,
the pigs should be hanging out here, man.
And they clear them out of the cities. I think they don't want to deal with it.
They have ordinances.
Yeah, or they're just. I mean, the pigs might just be afraid. I mean, there is that here as well.
Of becoming a barbecue.
Yeah, so Hops here now at the back. I think what? Don't sleep on Hops. This guy's savvy. Look at this.
He's been
look at how he's
chilling out.
And I've been watching his avatar actually, not even too intentionally, but I think my eyes just kind of been noticing that he's kind of in these spots that I would want to be in, where if I were just kind of trying to reserve as much energy as possible.
Kind of sniping it, and all of these other guys up in this, not all of them. So like the Adam Jones, the Varings, certainly Aubert, their guns are going to be hot, right?
Look at that, Dave, right there. Firing. Look at that. Look at how easily 0 watts per kilogram, just gets right on the back, doesn't push through. What? Don't sleep. This guy's been. I wonder what his watts per kilogram have been so far, because really, this is looks like some good riding by Hops here. I and Hops, Bikes FR, 3.2 watt per kilogram average to make this front group, but he's the lowest. Him and Carl R are both the lowest when it comes to watts per kilogram. Carl R might be more to do with the
really
power to weight ratio, So, but
sure,
those two.
But that also. When you look at how strong, here's an attack. This was inevitable. I like this because Hops doesn't want to sprint with those two monsters. Maybe he's listening to the commentary. He knows what his strength is. You got his.
He's going for the leaderboard. He's playing with them. He just wants.
Fortunately,
to sprint.
What's too bad is there's no points.
There's no. He's just going for the.
That's just for the heck of it.
That's just the beat my chest
that's
situation.
For grins and giggles.
And he gets it. Wearing. Looks like Ryan here as well. Nice job to him. But
3K, I thought that was an attack for the finale.
Well, he's got a gap now. He's with Waring. I mean, they could go for it if they wanted to.
Take it down to 2. Try to put Carl R under pressure. You can see that this is a ragged group behind them. We started with 57. There's not many left.
We're down to like 2.
Yeah. 2 or maybe 8, but this has been quite an event out here down to inside of 3K to go. Yeah, these guys are going to nail this one back. At what cost, though? Aubert is auspiciously sitting after what we saw him do early in the race, and the fact that he didn't entirely blow up after that. He didn't go supernova, Nathan. So obviously you have to keep an eye on him in the final couple of K for another attack. Although, if you're going to attack, don't do it. Well, I guess I was thinking in real life, if you're on the front attacking, you're just telegraphing it to everybody. But in Zwift, a little bit different. They're going to know where you are, too. So,
it doesn't make as much always. Almost always.
Yeah. Almost always, yeah. It's funny, so many times, Nathan, we talk about how similar racing on Zwift is to in real life. And it is. But there are some distinct differences, too. You can't crash.
Yeah, there's definitely
unless you're Christina Grossman.
True.
We've had Christina's not alone, and obviously friends. We're just kidding, but riders have flopped off of their trainers before in sprints. Although the techniques have been refined enough that you don't hear about that as much as you did maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah, just make sure. I mean, I have a feeling
it still happen.
Hear about it because there may just be such a large pool of Zwifters now that because that's
people don't want to talk about it. It would be here we go. So finale time inside of 2.
Starting to ramp it up. It looks like Waring here. So
if you're a sprinter, that's good because it just eliminates the attacks that you have to worry about. You just want to keep this group together. If you truly believe in your sprint, the faster other guys want to make it, the better, because you're all going to have to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
But with a guy off the front, all of a sudden it becomes who's going to chase, who's going to
No,
be
I think Waring is going to
exposing themselves.
really step this up here, Dave, because there is a climb. They do have to still take on a
A
climb
kicker.
in front of
Perfect
him.
example
So,
of a kick. Yeah.
and then it's a downhill though. So if these guys can just hold on to some of the lighter weight riders who've got a good watt per kilogram, they're gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be money for them. They're gonna be so happy with that one because the downhill sprint is going to hugely favor the bigger riders that have a lot
kilogram
more.
rider.
Yeah, with
The
big watts,
100-kilo
1,000
rider.
watts. I mean, you got to drop them
Yeah.
now on this climb, or else it's game over.
And but by drop them, I think we're talking 3-4 seconds.
Yeah, good call. Because if they get any, yeah, that's a good call. Because if they get any
Once
hold
they come
on
into your
at all,
draft, yeah,
and
yeah.
even with 3-4
So
seconds, the amount of speed they'll have in the
watch Robert.
downhill, it'll be interesting.
Watch
Waring's now
Robert.
making it. He's moving now. CR's trying to hold on.
I'm thinking about the counter out here, as you can see, as Nathan was saying. Clearly, riders are going to roll those dice. Wedding is one of them, but the counter over the top now is what I'm watching for. We're down to it. This is the bitter, bitter end of what's been a tough, tough race out here.
Yeah, here we go. It is going to be
Here
Waring trying to hold on. Orbert's there as well. Off the back,
Starting to
though.
match.
Hobbs.
There he goes.
Hobbs is off the back. I thought he was going to make it with them. Not going to happen. Ugh. Back to the front. Cryogen off the back now. Schickel here just hanging on. We're down to what, 5, Dave?
Correct. And it's I keep thinking that Aubert is going to attack. I see him flash some numbers. It's like crackle of thunder and lightning, but Wering remains up here on the fronts of the Swede, has been showing some real dominance here on the climb.
Dave, like half the weight, literally half the weight, Aubert. I mean, like, how? How, Dave? Like, he's got to drop them because, like, at these downhill speeds,
it's now
can
or
he
never,
even compete? And here we go into the downhill, Dave. Game over. This is just going to be a couple of turns.
Yeah, and I think that the Swiftcraft is here goes Aubert. It was only a matter of time until the Frenchman started to drop the guillotine, the wattage guillotine out here. Here he goes. The rider to watch now is CR2, the German flag. And, of course, we've highlighted Adam Jones. Adam Jones has got to be licking his lip, but he's got to get up into the slipstream. This is it. It's going to rapidly run out of real estate. Here we go. We're going to go straight down an elevator shaft like a bowling ball to the finish line now, Nathan.
Syrian, oh man, and CR here sitting on. He's sitting on. There it is, Dave. I think he's gonna just wait, and he's waiting. Waring now 5.9, 6.2 here, ramping it up. But this is just gonna be a lead out train. Watch Jones. Is Jones sitting pretty here? Albert now goes. It's gonna be too late if nobody jumps over the top. 11 watts per kilogram here. Trying to kick. Here comes CR2. CR2. Now there's the. I mean, look at this. No way. 1,000 watts. Nobody's gonna be able to come match that. 67, Dave. Kilometer 68. Over the top, that's it. And like we said, Dave, it was going to be all about the big watts on the downhill, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure was. That was impressive. What a finish. Those guys were pinning it out there today. Boy, did they get their workout in or what, Nathan?
Man, and I mean, yeah, they did, definitely.
Man, that was nuts. We're going to have riders all over McCurry Island. I mean, these guys race so fast. Jeez. And that's almost an hour out here. It's a long day for SZR.
Yeah, it is. It is a big day, definitely, for SZR. I just really quickly want to take a look at how this played up, mainly because Jones, I thought maybe was going to come over the top.
He was, you know what? He spent too much time in the wind. If he was, so he lost that race 35, 45 seconds before the finish. That's if he was in that slipstream, he would have had a chance to sprint for the win. But he had to keep closing that gap down, using all of his energy there. And then, when he went to the well, it was dry for a sprint.
Yeah, good point. I mean, if we take a look quick here,
Let's
at this.
watch.
I mean, look at Jones just
So
off the bat.
Jones in
This is
green.
the moment
No
that
draft
Aubert
here.
went to the front, right? He went to the
Right,
front
so-
and pushed it. I mean, just a little ways back from here, just a tad. Aubert went over the top, and Jones was just scraping to try and hold on, but he allowed just too many meters. And I have a feeling, I mean, look, if he would have punched just a little bit to get back on the wheels, he would have been there, I think.
See, if he's in the slipstream there, I mean, he's maybe just getting a whisper of a draft. He could maybe smell their embrocation, right? But now he's making the huge effort, and he does start closing it down, but it's too late at that point.
And look at where SZR is the whole time, just glued, absolutely glued, right where he needs to be.
If he was with them now, Nathan, he's going off the front of their little group. See how he's closing the gap? He had the power, but just a little late. Too little,
look,
too
Jones,
late.
Jones sprinting there at 7.9. He does give a kick, 9 watts per kilogram. He could have been involved. I think he could have been involved, actually. He does end up coming through, I think, for third, actually.
Right. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about my assessment.
This is the moment right here, really. Like this is, look where he is right here. Look at where he is right here, right? And this is the moment, right here, where he kind of floats backwards at 3 watts per kilogram, and Aubert goes at that moment. And that's the slingshot moment where he trusted the wheels around him, not with it, and bam, it's just too much of a gap.
And you know, so many times it's that rider with you that lets go of the wheel that you are trusting that ends up being the chink in your armor.
Good. I really good look at it here. Oh gosh, there's lots of chatter.
Well, this is why we do this. This is yeah, I'm curious now. I did
lots
not
of chatter taking place.
Today.
No, lots of chatter happening out on course about the different watts per kilogram and everybody's different, all the different levels that are happening out here. Oh boy. Here we go. All right. So we're going to take a quick look at the results here for the B category. We'll take a look quick first at what we just watched for the results. And this is going to be at here C category. It is the rider that we have on screen. Carl, R2, 53.49, Dave.
Nice job, Carl. So look at Luca's watts per kilo. Remember that I was asking who do you think it's going to be, Varing or Aubert? Well, Aubert at 4.7 watts per kilo. More than got his workout in and raised an eyebrow or two along the way, Luca. Luca Aubert there finishing with the silver cup. Adam Jones getting up there in third. And again, Adam, no shade at all. You're an awesome sprinter, and that's why we love watching these races, as we learn so much. So keep up the good work out there. Anders Waring as well in fourth, one of the animators of the day for sure. Nathan Schickel of INC, BLCC ending up in fifth. Rob L for Cryogen in sixth. Shout out to Cryogen. Ian Hops is from Bikes France in seventh. David Edis ended up in eighth. Jan Erik Carlson for Racer de Pan in ninth. And then Joost de Jong for ZWD in 10th. So that's our C's that we enjoyed. Guys, we love covering your races. Keep on reaching out. We'd love to hear your stories as well. So thanks.
Yeah, we are unable to swap around between any races actually today. There was an update on Zwift.
We got a good one. It worked out okay.
We did get a good one. I think it was great. If you're looking for results, you can head on over to zwiftpower.com, and as well as SZR do update their results as well. But we were unable to jump around, so we're just going to stick in with our C's out here today. Really appreciate everybody jumping in with us. We may be swapping things up a little bit. We are looking for those who are out in the community and what you're interested in for our coverage. We'll continue on with SZR. As well as perhaps, I don't know, we're taking a look at a few other things to jump into. I don't know if you noticed yesterday, if you're a subscriber of the channels and you are hanging out here a lot, you might have noticed we did a tour of Watopia ride yesterday. Really and it was just a ride and chat. And I think, that we love doing the race broadcast is the main thing that we do here. It's our mainstay. We absolutely love that. But that was definitely a good change up. I really, really enjoyed that. It seemed like the chat enjoyed it. They had a lot of questions and kind of that interview mode. And we're thinking about also bringing in some other riders, Zwift Grand Prix riders, ride leadership that's out there to do those kinds of more chat chill. I did see a comment. I do need to respond to this comment real quickly on the tour of Watopia yesterday about the bike swap. And I don't know, like if you thought we were trying to go fast, that definitely was not us trying to go fast on the bike swap.
That's on me. That's on me because at one point I told Gabby that I was going to time her like an F1 stop, but then we completely changed our energy during the. So I felt like that was sort of like half Rafe's broadcast.
We were trying to have fun. It was just like I just wanted to go fast and ride a mountain bike. It was just having fun, And I gotta say also,
I don't take that as criticism. I think that was just sort of a tongue-in-cheek joke.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. The other side of that too, I got to say something to this too. And this may be more podcast material, but like, Zwift Insider says that, and that's taken as if it's like biblical or something. You know what I mean? Or if it's taken as if it's like the science, or it's like this is the way that it works. And it's like, I disagree with Eric on quite a few things actually when it comes to racing things often. Like not like, I
think
disagree with you, but there's an opinion about what works the most. Not like back in the day, he was like churn works the best for TTTs. And I'm like, I think straight line only. And that was still up for debate for back in the day prior to 4.1 and 4.0 pack dynamics. So, I mean, there's a lot that's still up for debate there. And I have one though. So the comment was bike swaps aren't worth it. I have one on, I think, every bike swap I've ever done. Every bike swap I've ever done, I've won on it. So
I mean, I let me just, from my perspective, I was a skeptic, big time skeptic. And, don't skeptics typically sort of the Schadenfreude thing where they want to see themselves prove correctly where the thing should fail, right? And I 100% admit I was wrong. We have seen in multiple ZRL broadcasts where bike swaps have, kind of crunching the numbers. Again, it's not scientific, but the best that we can get, bike swaps do work when executed well. And again, you got to know exactly what you're doing and practice. You don't show up on race day and do it for the first time. That's
true.
For sure.
That's true. You definitely don't.
I've seen bike swaps, Nathan, work in real life, where riders changed from their road bike. They were on a, Saturn Cycling Classic 2002. Scott Moniger goes from a road bike to a mountain bike to do a whole 9-mile descent on a rutted out dirt road, broken asphalt, gets back on his road bike and goes and wins the race. So that was on a descent with a mountain bike, Mercury days.
Jeez.
So I know there's a lot of history in this sport that seems to come true in Zwift at one time or another.
So speaking of Tour of Watopia and new roads and everything, though, next week we'll be doing something very similar to what we did yesterday. So make sure to join in with us. We're going to see if we can get a massive Tuesday, 1 p.m. or noon. We got to pick which one it's going to be. We'll schedule it as soon as possible. Jump in, ride and chat. We'll be watching the chat. We'll be hanging out with you in game. And if you didn't see the new roads, it is going to be Watopia's southern coast. It is now open. So pretty exciting to see here. Southern Coast now open, cool. Dave. Super fun.
Cool music.
Absolutely love. Yeah, they did a good job. They did a really good job with that, and absolutely loving it. And there is a whole host of new roads. I'm thinking we're seeing how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from what I am seeing here of total new routes that you can jump into. The badges should be in your game, ready to go. You can click on those, head on over. Check out the new roads on Watopia. It looks like a lot of fun. So we'll be jumping in, though, next Tuesday for that. Also, the Z Racing on Monday is going to be on one of these routes. So be on the watch out for that. And I have a feeling this is going to be the new hype for like the next month and a half for a lot of the racing that we're covering, Dave.
Stoked.
Just like with
Yeah.
Scotland.
No.
Just like with Scotland.
I love it. Great energy. It's a big day for our huge Zwift community. So right on, everybody. Enjoy some exciting new roads to ride on.
We'll see you tomorrow, not here on Zwift Community Live, but we will hopefully see all of you over on Zwift's live
Good luck
channels
tomorrow.
for the Zwift Grand
good
Prix,
luck.
Alp the Zwift Mountain Points Race. Whew,
It's our boy Nathan. It's his big day.
We'll
man.
see. Man, we'll see if we got the climb relays compared to some of those guys, but we will give it everything that we got. I'll be live on my personal channel. I'll be hanging out in productions a little bit with the ZGP broadcast as well. And then tomorrow night, we'll cover all of that on the podcast. So make sure to watch the wrap tomorrow night, very late CST, or in the morning. You can watch the replay or obviously download the audio as well. But Dave, it's been a lot of fun covering SCR, and we will see you next Monday for Z Racing. You up to anything for the weekend, Dave?
No, you know what? I'm home. It's first weekend of the year. It's kind of off season kicking in for in real life stuff. So I'm
awesome.
happy.
Well, have a nice break.
Year,
have a good weekend.
I need a break. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, enjoy your weekend, Dave, and everybody else out there.
Thanks.
We'll see you tomorrow, if not Monday, and enjoy your weekends as well. From Dave and I, as always, we appreciate you hanging out with us, and ride on.